Brian, one of the first questions that we typically get, and I know you get it as well because we work in the same office, how long is my claim going to take? How long is it going to take me to get this done? I've had the wreck's happened, I've been to the doctor, I've got a lawyer, now what? How long is it going to take?
And we always give the terrible lawyer answer of it depends. So I would say, and I know one of our attorneys who's on here all the time, Ted and I, it really just depends on your injuries, insurance limits, and things like that. But I would say 90% of our cases, we really don't want to start negotiating until you're done with your medical treatment or you reach a point that we call MMI, or maximum medical improvement, where you might still get medical treatment, but you have kind of plateaued on your recovery. And so that's the new normal. The reason we want to wait until we get there is so the insurance company and us can evaluate the claim, all your medical bills, any future care that you need, any residual effects. But we also have a really accurate accounting of the bills. Now, there are exceptions, and I know you know this. If there is a significant injury, a death, we move those cases much quicker. And it doesn't necessarily mean we're going to settle quicker, but we're going to put pressure on the insurance companies a lot quicker because we don't know the insurance limits. We don't know if it's a big company where there's money beyond the insurance. We don't know if it's an individual. We don't know who the owners of the vehicle are. We don't know our client's insurance.
We don't know if that person was driving for an employer, and it may implicate an employer's liability policy.
And yeah, so I had a client who I still currently represent, but it was a very significant injury. The two insurances that we knew about offered the money, and it was only a penny of what her case was worth within about 7 days. But the case didn't settle at that point in time. They offered it, we didn't accept it because we were waiting on the insurance company to provide us an affidavit from the at-fault party, and they did that. And in the affidavit, the person admitted truthfully that, hey, I was on the job working for company XYZ, and they have $5 million in additional coverage. So it's one of the benefits of hiring an attorney is sometimes if you get those checks and the insurance company say, hey, here's all the coverage we have, you're going to sign it and settle it, and then you have no idea there's an additional $5 million in coverage.
And you're signing a release. I mean, they pay you the money. You sign a release, and that release says that I'm accepting X amount of money, and in exchange, I'm going to release all claims, all liability against the person that hit me. And people do that, and they don't even realize that this person was on a job and they're working for somebody, so they're in the course and scope of their employment. In Florida, that makes employers liable for the actions of their employees. The term is respondent superior, or vicarious liability. But yeah, well, they settle the case, and here you go, there's $5 million in coverage, which some cases, Brian, you mentioned the person that goes to the hospital, they're checked out, they feel fine a couple of days later.
You don't need $5 million.
Low limits, you're not going to need $5 million. But let's say it's something a little bit more serious.
Where somebody's admitted to the hospital, has multiple surgeries, is still having problems walking, and things like that. You need that additional coverage.
That additional coverage is very important, and you would never know about it if you didn't go through all the different steps that we go through when we're trying to vet a claim and determine coverage.
So the question was, how long does it take? It really depends.
It really does depend.
On insurance limits, your injuries, your medical bills, and things like that. But a majority of the cases, before we start negotiating, we want to wait until you're either discharged from medical treatment or hit that plateau where we know the new normal.
So we know what it is that we're negotiating on.
But there are exceptions. Like every lawyer in every legal situation will tell you there's no black and white answer sometimes. There's a lot of gray.
There is.